In this episode of the Encourage Inspire podcast, I'm joined by mindset career coaches for music entrepreneurs, Juice and Self. This is a great episode, man, because Juice and Self, I actually connected with them on social media, and they really took a liking to what I'm doing with independent artists in terms of like teaching about core audience and education. And I knew once I connected with them that I wanted to have them on the podcast. What I love about what they're doing is they make a focus on making sure that your mindset is right. You know, entering the music industry and what is that's going to be required to be successful. We got a chance to talk about Self's journey first as an artist, then as a songwriter, then pivoting to a music publisher, and meeting his wife Juice and them having success in the music publishing space, and then now, like I said, teaching artists about mindset and also business development and being successful in today's music ecosystem. This was a great episode. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Encourage Inspire podcast. This is episode number 84, and I've got two special guests with me today. My homies, my people, Juice and Self, is with me today. They're mindset coaches for music entrepreneurs, and I think that's such a cool thing because mindset is so important. So thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. We're so happy to be here.
For sure. And I think you guys found me.
Yeah, we found you, right. we found you on a Facebook group, and I was like, yo, get on the phone, man. Let's figure this out. Let's talk.
Right. And then you guys told me about your program, which we'll get into in a little bit. But first, I always want to say, like, first of all, where you guys originally from? We'll start there. I know y'all are based in Atlanta now, but where you guys originally from?
We're both from Connecticut originally.
Okay, cool. Very cool. And I always like to ask this question, what's your earliest memories of music? You know, what's your earliest memories of music?
No, you go first.
So I grew up in the church. I'm a pew baby, right? So my earliest memories of music is my mom and my grandma singing. My grandmother was a songwriter. So every Sunday, before the sermon, she's opening up with a song, and we'll call my mother up to sing with her. And that was pretty much like every day, all day. In our family, you had to know how to harmonize. You might not know how to sing, but you better know how to harmonize and be on key and don't sing off key. So that was my first
I love it.
Intro to music.
I love it.
Well, mine was just running through them streets of New Haven. We had you get inspired to change your life and your trajectory. And oftentimes myself, I was one of those guys who said, I got to get up out of here, and the best way I saw the window of opportunity was through music. But my earliest window of really just saying, you know what, music is something I love, had to been with me hearing Daz Effects, and once I heard Daz Effects, and then that Keith Murray, the most beautifulest thing in this world, and then these records started to go crazy. It just changed my life and my perspective, and I said, you know what, these guys are speaking to me. They are navigating my truth through their music. So that was it. I was running Wu-Tang Clan, cream, you know. So
I love that. So when did you decide, like, okay, we're gonna, and this question for both of y'all, because I'm sure y'all both had separate journeys for you guys linked up. But when do you guys decide, okay, this is something I want to do professionally, like, and I'm gonna like take this thing seriously? When was that for y'all?
so she met she married into it, so she inherited the professionalism. Uh, but I was just like, all right, Joe, you're in the music business now. Here. But and let's see, in the early 2000, um, I got to a place where I just was like, yo, this needs to be real. And I couldn't identify with well, actually, I was part of this rap group back in the day called Raw Reality, and we was like on our way. One day, a person from Rockefeller Records called me before. This is before Rockefeller was Rockefeller. This was
Right,
like when they had Rel and Christian and all these other acts.
right,
It wasn't. They were trying to build this R&B crew. It was wild. This when people was like, "Yo, you gotta make songs for the girls." This is like when that time was,
right.
uh, that era, and and this guy called me up. I'm not going to mention no names. He called me up, was like, yo, I heard you guys were making a lot of noise in New Haven. I want you to come to New York and rock on this showcase. And that was like the first window for me. And I was like, what? Got up in the car, me and the homie, and went down there and tore it down. I wanted to move forward, but the homie got kind of afraid of what life can be like when you uh, basically sign a deal with someone. And when he got afraid, me being loyal to him, I made the decision to kind of just be like, all right, and pass it up. So instead of me just telling this particular person who's pretty iconic now that we can't, move forward, that put a battery in my back and made me say, all right, I need this for myself. And then that's how that started to happen when I
Right.
started to move, searching for professionalism, searching for um, things of that nature.
Okay, yeah. And so like, so tell me about that journey. So okay, now you realize you doing this for real now. So like, what was kind of some of the obstacles you kind of ran into? We'll start there because then I want to flip that back into talking a little about mindset. But what's some of the obstacles that, because again, doing this musical journey, you're gonna want to do some bullshit. You're gonna deal with some stuff,
For sure.
and your mental is so important because if your mental ain't strong, this shit'll eat you up and spit you out,
Yeah,
and only the strong survive in this game. You know.
right.
So
So, I mean, in the beginning of the journey came just from wanting to be a dope artist, right?
yeah,
So I wanted to be a dope artist. I was writing songs for people. I was writing songs for myself, and then I was just taking that journey, you know what I mean? Doing a bunch of open mics, and this is the time when uh I call them mailmen people will
okay.
call themselves A&Rs to get money from open mics, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. I know
this
what you're
was
talking about.
when
Yeah,
anybody that was in the building was so important. So they'll just show up
at
at
a
a
showcase, because at a showcase or something like
yeah,
that,
at a
right? And then
showcase, and then the flyer would say,
pay me $300. I'm gonna be a judge, right?
word up, word up. Def Jam is here. So you was
Right.
chasing all these different
Yeah.
labels when you found out they wasn't really A&Rs, they was just people that was associated with some people that might have been somebody.
Right.
That played a lot on my my passion and my journey because I quickly realized this was full of stuff that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Bro,
And
you
I
can
was
curse, bro. It's all good. Do
right, right. But you
it.
gotta remember that, that I got the call from the homie to come rock. So I was feeling like I should have been on already at this point
Yeah.
because that call came in and made me feel like I was worthy enough to compete.
Right.
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 So I was moving. When you make the decision not to go forward, and then it's almost like you take a few steps back,
right,
and just trying to work yourself back into the place where you're back relevant almost, you know what I mean?
right,
Back
right.
in the sight of so-called corporate, what I know now to be corporate music business, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and at that time, yeah, that journey was crazy, you get manhandled, you spending money to get seen, you buying on the tours, you buying on to all these different things trying to come up, and you quickly realize something ain't right, and it's not really meant for me to go in that way. It was, because when we got the call, I wasn't trying.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? When we
yeah,
got the call, I wasn't doing none of these efforts.
yeah,
You see, I got the call just by accident, just from doing me,
yeah, yeah.
So
For sure, for sure. Um, so did you ever? So let me ask this. So did you ever come close to signing any kind of deal, or you kind of just always kind of just went the indie route? Like,
so there's levels, like
yeah,
as
yeah. There's levels. There's definitely levels. Yeah.
now when you say in terms of an artist, did I come close to signing the deal?
Yeah, yeah,
In terms of an artist, yes, that was the call, and that was a big breakthrough for me because I felt like I was worthy, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I thought I was going to be part of the first level of Rockefeller record artists, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
And at this time there was no, Philly crew or none of that. It was just, Rail, Christian, and all these other, and Myth Bleak, of course, he was
yeah,
there. But
yeah.
there wasn't nobody outside of that core crew. So it was just, I just thought that was it. And I knew the homie had the biggest record out right now. So I just wanted to be a part of it, but I couldn't because my loyalty. So that was as an artist, that was the window that I, in hindsight, say, dang, man, because you see what Rockefeller turned into.
Absolutely. And by the way, I think that we don't give Dame Dash enough credit because to me, him and Biggs is really rock. Of course, Jay's Jay, but without Biggs and Dame, I don't think Rockefeller becomes what they become. Everybody tried to count Dame out, and look what Dame is doing now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought that, well, he's a loser. Jay-Z must have left him. I'm like, nah, man. Dame Dash is not a loser. Because he's the brain behind it. So
Yeah.
if you're the brain behind it, you can never really lose. Yeah, Jay went and did what he's doing, and I love Jay-Z, but to sit there and act like Dame Dash didn't play a major role in that of his success, that's that would be asinine to think that. And I think that Dame doesn't get enough credit for what he meant to that whole brand, right? So because nobody wanted to sign Jay-Z at that time, he rapped too fast. Like nobody wanted and they had to figure out a way essentially to do their own thing to allow themselves to give themselves a platform. And I think that when it comes to Dame Dash, man, you just gotta. There's something I agree with what he says, something I don't. Overall, I just believe that he should be a major. He should be considered a major player and somebody that really made Jay-Z into who Jay-Z is today, and what the Rockefeller brand essentially became. You know, I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
So Dame to us, well, to me, Dame is an iconic executive.
Right.
See,
Right.
but at the same time, Dame moves very unprofessional to a place where he has a cap on his decision making.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
in order for him to shine the way he needs to shine, he has to stay independent.
Yeah.
Like, cause
For sure. No. Yeah. Oh,
he can't
can't be under a corporate. Yeah, he has to be.
He can't go in corporate doing what he was doing. And I think it was because of Jay-Z and because of Biggs that they last that long.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because they were the balancing act
right.
off of the rah-rah. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
yeah,
You
I
need
think
that.
every one of us need a Dame Dash in our life in the beginning. That's not fearful. They're gonna kick in doors. They're gonna
right.
spit on you and tell you this is my product, blah blah.
Especially back then. You know what I'm saying?
Especially
back then in the corporate, because people don't realize, man, record companies used to literally curate sound. Like you would go to labels because of the sound that they did. Like I used the example the other day about Montel Jordan being signed to Def Jam as a singer, right? Not realizing they're a hip hop label. They didn't really know how to do R&B because you know a lot of the Montel Jordan's early singles. What do? They put a rapper on it.
That's right.
And that's all they know how to do. But they didn't necessarily know how to do R&B. Same thing with G-Unit and 50. Right. Olivia and the whole G-Unit, that never made sense because they don't do R&B over there.
Right.
So you got Olivia, who's super dope, who's coming from the Clive Davis tree.
Right.
Arista Records goes over to G-Unit, but 50's masterful what he does, but
yeah, he didn't know what to do with her.
If you don't understand, if you don't understand R&B and Juice, you could tap in here because I want to hear from you. You know, it just was interesting back then. Interesting back then about how curation was compared to how it is now, because labels really don't have the same control they had. They just don't have it. You know what I'm saying? They still have control, but it's not literally we can curate sound, we can curate radio, we can curate everything.
Right.
And so we control it. So nowadays when you take that away with no control, and essentially all you're doing is making somebody else go get hot, and then you're pouring gasoline on what they do.
Right.
So yeah. So what are your thoughts?
And in reference to what?
In reference to, record labels, what they used to be versus what they are now.
Technology changed a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of what the label can control and what they can do, because it's so, we have our fan base in the palm of our hand now. So there's no reason to really need a label if you know how to handle your business. You know what I mean?
Sure. And I asked that because that's what you guys do, and I want to transition into what you guys are doing. So tell me about what you guys decided to focus on being mindset coaches, and we're all before that, because I know you guys had some success in the publishing space. So let's go there first, and then we'll go back to the mindset coaches. So I know. So talk to me about like y'all success in the publishing world, and how what did that create for y'all moving forward to transition to what you guys are doing now. I think that's a better segue.
So publishing wise, I mean, when we first kind of started out with the publishing, this guy would go anywhere. If somebody sounded hot, he's going to sign them. You know what I'm saying? Like It was, we had a real guerrilla type of
attitude.
Yeah. I'd find them and be like, what do you think about this person? And he'd be like, bet.
Let's go get
going to sign him.
And then sometimes she'd be like, but how? And we'd be like, I don't know.
There was a lot of hows.
I don't know, but we don't.
So did you guys created a company, and then you guys just basically started doing kind of the whole, we're going to self-publish everything, and then we're going to go shop the records ourselves?
Basically, because once you get, I don't want to say, screwed in the industry,
because you didn't do a traditional co-pub deal or admin deal.
Some of them were, but what happened was, we got signed. So basically, that journey of an independent artist trying to get back rediscovered ended and not ended, but transitioned into just figuring out where I can make some money at, and that went to my pen, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So it went to, all right, you're an artist, this, that, and the third, you blah, blah, blah. But then it turned into, dang, man, I ain't making no money and I need to pay some bills. Yeah. So that turned into me writing and nurturing my little brother at the time to create, beats. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he would create the beats and I would write hooks and pitch and pitch and pitch. And what that ended up doing was getting assigned to Warner Chappell and Black Baby Inc. You know what I mean? And that took us from New Haven, Connecticut to Atlanta. And then that's how we got to Atlanta, because we did a publishing deal with Warner Chappell. And what happened was,
and it was just and what let's cut you off. It was a traditional MDRC, or was it that what you is that what you guys did? For those of y'all who don't know what the MDRC is, that's called a minimum delivery requirement.
It
clause.
was.
Yeah.
So the initial conversation was a traditional MDRC, but then what happened was when I got here and we started rolling, that language started to change, because that was the time that was the Let It Burn, These Are My Confessions era, right? And and all that type of stuff. So got here, we hit the ground running. We was writing, working with some of the best names in the game. But we couldn't understand why any, and this is what Juice was saying, when you get screwed a couple of times, you start thinking about why does this keep happening? So we will find ourselves writing, working with some of the most A-list, situations as possible.
If you don't mind, can you know a couple people that you work with? We don't do just a couple. You don't have to name some people.
So all right, so you remember the first phone call we had?
Yeah.
So the person over at Rockefeller, there was another situation where in the middle of the night, another phone call came through. Okay. Gotcha. From a different set of people that opened the door for songwriting opportunities and gave me the opportunity to be a writer. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that person, rest in peace, was Shakir Stewart. And he reached out and said, "Hey, I need you in New York." Him and Jermaine Dupri said, "I need you in New York." And we got a new artist. At the time, this new artist, they was gassing me up, saying it was just as big as 50 Cent. Okay. They were like,
wait, just a disclaimer, okay? This was foolish.
Yeah, this was foolish
on him part.
So what happened? What happened? It was like, yo, we got an artist that's the 50 Cent of the South. And at the time, I ain't been out here like that, right? Right. So, and this was 50 was 50.
Yeah.
So, you growing up
he's still 50.
He's still 50, but you growing up in the tri-state area, New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey, and you are swallowed by 50 Cent brand at that time. GWUN was everything.
Everybody wanted a bulletproof vest.
A bulletproof vest on.
We were wearing bulletproof vests, but
you know what I mean?
Right. Suburban church girl. There's no reason for me to have one. But I have one.
Right. But we had one. Everybody had the whatever, right? He branded. He branded.
He's a master marketer.
For sure.
50 Cent. People don't give him credit. And he says he's had two careers. One in music and what he's doing in film and TV. I mean, it's literally two separate careers. Here's the thing: his final lap tour. What does that tell you? People still love those records.
Big time.
Still love those records. I mean, he's performing songs that are 20-something years old.
And selling out arenas.
Selling out arenas. People 50 is a one of a kind type of dude, man, because nobody exists like him. I mean, to go on tour and sell in arenas, most arenas.
So here's the catch that most people don't deceive with this final lap tour. You couldn't buy none of these tickets on Ticketmaster. You had to go to GWUN.com.
Right. And so he's getting all the money. Yeah.
So he was getting all. And then the second thing is every location he went to were the locations that the major labels told him he didn't have a fan base in.
Right.
So what happened was when he did this final lap tour, he just went to every place they told him he didn't have a fan base.
And he's killing it.
And he's selling out arenas and being his own ticketing system and just pocketing everything by himself.
Absolutely. So going back to so they tell you that there's this new artist coming. They're gonna be the biggest acts. It's 50, and so what? So you get duped. So you kind of get fooled here.
No. I being cocky from New Haven.
Yeah.
Like nigga. Oh, I'm sorry. I
don't know. You can curse, bro.
Oh, okay.
You good.
Yeah. I'm like nigga, and this is me telling Shakir and Jermaine Dupri on the phone at 4:00 in the morning. Nigga, ain't nobody bigger than 50 Cent. There ain't no next 50 Cent.
Right.
They like, yo, we like you. You just going, you know who you talking to? I said, yeah, Jermaine Dupri. Yeah, Shakir. But you just said something crazy to me. There ain't no another 50 Cent. So, right. And it was like, just meet me in New York tomorrow. And you know, well, I'm from New Haven. It's only an hour and 40 minutes to Harlem.
Yeah, that's right. Did you know Troy Taylor? I think Troy Taylor's from there too.
Yeah, Troy Taylor and Troy Oliver is from New Haven, Connecticut. Yeah. So right. So we come out of the situation. I go, all right, well, bet. I meet him in New York, and we playing beats. I'm in the office, and I'm at Def Jam. So now I feel like I finally got back to where the first phone. Like now I'm getting recognized again. Let's do it. I'm here now. I'm in the building, and now it's all on me. You know what I mean? Me, and the team that we created.
Right.
So what ended up happening, and the person that they said was just as big as 50 Cent in the South, they said, yo, I need you to write for this guy. He just needs hooks. Your brother gonna do all the beats. Just start loading them up.
Okay.
So the person that comes in the room was a chubby gentleman at the time. He's not that now. Had all these chains in and all this stuff. And they was trying to convince me that a guy with a brand name Snowman was big as 50 Cent.
Yeah, it's easy.
So I said, there's no way you're going to tell me, again, me being me, that a guy says Snowman and he's going to be as big as 50 Cent. And
we all right. And the Snowman is Jeezy. Yeah, and let me man.
So he walks in the room, and that's that. You know what I mean?
He was young Jeezy back then, but
yeah. He walks in the room, and that's that. And we got the writing, and I just did the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I met some good friends of people that even to this day are some decent friends, or associates, I should say. And that was our window into understanding the power of the pen.
Yeah.
Once that happened, and I was offered an opportunity with this particular gentleman, I thought like any other independent person, I need a lawyer.
Yeah.
You see? Because they're gonna try to do X, Y, and Z. I need to make sure I get a lawyer.
Yeah.
So now he asked me to send them 50 beats. All these were all hooks on them and whatever.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, yo, what if they steal these beats?
Yeah.
Steal these songs.
Yeah.
It's corporate, man. They could take something from me, and I don't, you know what I mean? So I go get a lawyer. I go hire a lawyer. The lawyer says, yeah, you got to do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, well, you're in charge. Now I introduced the lawyer to Shake, and now all of a sudden, Shake like, yo, why you got a lawyer calling me?
Yeah.
So now the energy starts to change because you feel like I could have changed your life.
Well, you don't trust me. Almost like you don't trust me.
So now you don't trust. I could have changed your life. So now all of a sudden the energy gets where I find out that the lawyer stopped the production deal from happening.
Oh wow!
Because she said the contract wasn't a good contract, so she was protecting our best interests. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But instead of her bringing it back to me, having this conversation,
what she should have did.
What you should have did.
Came back. Yeah, because ultimately she works for you.
For sure. She comes back. She said, yeah, I threw that out the window. It'd be another opportunity. I said, what are you talking about?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But at this time, it already created a weird space. Industry guys.
Yeah.
Weird once.
They not messing with you. Yeah.
Goodness. Like that thing just changed the dynamics completely. Right. And what ended up happening was I started to find myself almost begging for an opportunity back with the same situation. I was stalking a record label. I was stalking everywhere. I was like, yo, I was acting really girly. Like, nigga, give me a shot. What's wrong with you? Why you not answering my phone? I was mad at the same time, I was ready to do some other things. And my mind had me in another place. Like, because I was so close to
what you working for.
What I was working with. And mind you, I was working my way back to that. Now I'm here again at the same place, and now something else causes it to fall apart. Mine now, going from there, months go by, I don't hear nothing from nobody. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I get another call, and this other stupid producer at the time says, yo, I came across your beat CD with all these hooks. And he said, are you the guy that goes run forever? Like that was the tag, right? In the beginning. So I'm laughing like, yeah, right, it's Rain Forever. Yeah, who this, right? He's like, yo, come in Atlanta. And I said, I bet. So I come to Atlanta and I sit down in the joint and they playing all these beats and they going crazy. Yo, we gotta use this. We gotta use this. We gotta use this. So I'm starting to cut all these records again. So now it's my shot.
Yeah.
They meet me at the studio. The first person I see when I get to the studio was Shake sitting there getting his haircut. Right?
Wow.
And I said to myself, he said, yo, Self, man, what you doing here? And I said, what you doing here? Because I only knew him for being in New York. You see?
Yeah.
And he was like, man, this is my house. This is my backyard. He was real cocky about it or whatever.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, but you see me working, right? I'm in the A room and walked off, right?
So many lessons.
Juice.
So many. This was before me.
Oh, before you. Okay.
Before me.
Okay, this is okay. You ain't involved in this right here. You know?
I told you.
But she probably would have been like, yo, what are you doing?
I told you when we got married.
But that's a man shit. That's some like stick your chest out at like bravado. Yeah, that's what that is.
But sure enough, what happened was we got there, and now I leave Atlanta, gets back to Connecticut, and I'm waiting. So the guy told me like, yo, I'm either gonna structure this deal with Warner Chappell and send you to LA, or I'm gonna send you to Atlanta. And at this time, I meet her.
Okay.
My beautiful wife during that transition.
Right.
Not knowing what's about to happen. So I said, all right, I'm going to Atlanta. So they sent me the contract. It was from Warner Chappell. Everything looked legit. And I was not dealing with that lawyer. I said, nigga, I'll read this myself.
Right.
Not about to let you ruin another opportunity for me.
Right.
So, but I should have gave it to a lawyer.
Definitely. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's a smart business. You get it from a corporate publishing house, like that's just what you're supposed to do. Like, because again, they're always going to write the contract in their favor. It's just so you have to have somebody fight for you on your behalf. Nobody gets exactly what they want, but you have to be able to compromise. Okay, we're not going to get this, but at least we'll get something in our favor. You know what I'm saying?
You don't get what you want. You get what you negotiate.
Exactly.
But here's the lesson, because I know you entertain I know your podcast is talking to our group of people, which is the independent music community.
Right.
And so here's the lesson. I was already jaded for what this lawyer did with this other situation.
Correct.
So I figured I was smart enough to read it myself, and I wasn't smart enough to understand the language. Wow. So I just signed it. Bomb.
Wow.
Into back. You see what I'm saying? And called my brother and said, yo, we going to Atlanta, yo. Literally packed up these cars, brought me and 5 other people to Atlanta. They had Warner had an apartment with me, out for us out there.
Right.
And at this time, I'm getting married. At this time, right? And Juice not knowing nothing. She's like, so you just gonna go to Atlanta?
Like,
do you know anyone in Atlanta? No, but I'm going, right? Mind you, I got lost in LA for 4 months.
Yeah.
You see, in a stolen rental car with Hertz, but that's a whole nother story. But it's a whole nother
point of the story.
The point of the story is we finally got to Atlanta. I'm married now. We have this publishing situation, and I'm working. working. Every studio, writing. Now I
Right.
feel like I gotta be something. I got a wife now, so
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
something gotta shake.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with all these A-list people. One of these records gotta change my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sure enough, man, everything that we put out just wouldn't stick. We got this here, we got that there, we
Yeah.
secured this, and just things wasn't sticking to albums. You see what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
And to all those songwriters out there that's listening to your podcast, back then you would get a production fee. So
Yep.
they'll pay you a little something up front.
Yeah.
And then you'll get the back end later,
Right.
if it makes the album.
Right.
But now towards this time, they wasn't doing production fees no more. They was you just had to wait. You'll get a check if it make the record. So you're doing a lot of
For free.
a
Getting yourself to the studio, paying,
lot of sweat equity.
Yeah. That's the nature of the game.
And it's now you're dealing with corporate. So a lot of people, I remember back in the day, people used to be fiending for the who's looking list, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even have no bread, so I used to sell like the who's looking list on the side. You know what I mean? And
Right.
like, yo, you know what I mean? You want to write for somebody? Here,
Right.
and people will pay for it. But
Yeah.
what ended up happening is those situations, Juice would say, they didn't pan out like we wanted it to pan out. And that was our introduction to understanding why it wasn't panning out. So now I'm like, let me see this contract.
Right.
Go read.
But it was a lot more than just the contract. You know what I'm saying? It was where he was mentally, because
True.
somebody should have sat his behind down and said,
calm me down.
There's a time and a place to puff your chest.
Yeah.
Now is not the time. Tomorrow might be the place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A little bit of humbleness goes a long way. And then it's being confident. So once he got knocked down the first time, right, he wasn't moving in confidence. He was moving out of desperation.
Right. Right.
That messes everything up.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, freaking, they should have got some cookies after the lawyer done messed up, right? And
Right.
Yeah.
The lawyer, cut it out, relax.
Yeah.
But we learned a lot. We learned how to, there's a balance that you gotta have moving into this music industry. Sorry. There's a balance between common sense, humbleness, and confidence, right? Because you don't want to be overly cocky.
No.
Like now, everyone wants to get streams, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the hard work that goes into it. It's
Right.
regardless how talented you are, like you got to put some work in.
For sure. You gotta have skin in the game. You have to, because I mean,
and that skin better be thick, honey.
Yeah.
It better be thick. That's why we use the rhino as our brand animal. So it's
Right.
like the rhino has thick skin, it's tough, it's charged, it's meant to charge through. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Be tough in this game, because don't come across me.
Right. Guys, we're gonna pause real quick. So we're back. Yeah. So look, you have to have, like you said, have to have thick skin, man. This industry will. People don't care. There's no social responsibility. If you take my situation, having a disability, like, you don't see people like me in this business doing what I'm doing.
For sure.
Everything I've done, I've created. Every opportunity I had, and I didn't come through the corporate system. So everything I've done has been completely independent, but it hasn't been easy, but I've loved every second of it, because you have to stick in this thing for a long time. You have to love it. You have to be willing to take the good and the bad, because if you don't, you won't last very long. You won't last long.
So just to sum up what I was saying before,
right?
Like the what got us to the music publishing accolades, what ended up happening was we got to a place where we needed to figure out why these opportunities wasn't, sticking, and we wasn't being monetized the way we were supposed to. So there was a particular situation that was like the hay on the camel's back, or did I say that right? The hay on the string, whatever, the straw on the camel's back.
Right.
And what happened was this particular record hit, and it was this record got
the
like,
straw that broke the camel's back. I'm sorry.
okay, the
That's
straw
yeah.
broke the
He's
camel's
right.
back.
She's right.
The record hit and earned massive accolades. And this particular record, I spent so much time arranging vocals and helping put this record together.
Right. Right.
And what happened was I didn't see neither my name or my brother's name or any of our company name on these credits. So I was trying to figure out what's going on because I thought that was one of those moments when you thought like, yo, life is changing. This is it.
Right.
You know, how many times I said that in these stories? A few
Right.
times, right? So
Right.
that was one of these moments where I was like, life is changing. It's on and popping. This is what's about to happen.
Absolutely.
I didn't see our name. I didn't see our credit. I didn't see anything. I went to this particular person and asked them what's going on, and they just gave me $10,000 and said, your agreement with Warner Chapel was a staff agreement, right? So I was like,
Oh
a
wow.
staff
A
agreement.
staff contract. So,
I go back to the contract. I'm looking.
oh, oh God.
Then I call my
That means
a
you
lawyer.
own. That means you don't own none of the copyrights.
Another very, very expensive lesson.
Right.
What ended up happening, I got our little 10,000. This record just became like ginormous. And I couldn't say we had something to do with it, or I couldn't prove that we had something to do with it.
Okay.
And that changed our life. That
Okay.
changed our life. Me and Juice went and sat down and said, something gotta change. We can't keep going through whatever. And Juice suggested, why don't we just be our own publishers?
Right. That's a yep.
So, and I was like, what?
Because I could read.
Right.
And then I was like, what do you mean? Like, and she was like, you was on a staff agreement thinking you was on this other type of agreement for almost 2 years, 3 years now.
Yeah.
And nothing came of it but a few couple $1,000 and all these possible breakout records. And then the one breakout record that really was the record, we can't even, what we supposed to do with this $10,000? At the time we had our new baby.
And especially if that song goes to radio, because as songwriters and producers, you want the song to go to radio.
I needed to go to radio.
When you go to radio, that's the big dollars.
That's the gold in the sauce. Like that's the liquid gold, because that copyright will continuously feed you. In this particular record, can I say no, I can't even say the she shut me down. This particular record got so big that we just, so I ain't even gonna live on there. The point was, Juice said we can be our own publishers, and I thought about it, and then she said it again. Then I said, you know what, we can be our own publishers,
right?
And then I reached out to an assistant of Shake, and at the time, and said, yo, what is going to take for me to be a Warner Chapel? She said, a what, Self? I said, I want to be Warner Chapel. That woman gave us the game. That woman looked at us, she laughed, and then she said, all right, this is what you need to do. And sure enough, man, we went and did it.
Yeah.
And we started Rain Forever Group Music Publishing. And that's when we was like, we're gonna sign anybody who will give us a shot. You see? And if they were willing to write and be thorough, then I will be willing to do whatever it takes to get these records monetized.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And sure enough, that's what happened. We started signing. And we ended up going. And it just got to a place where none of those records were getting monetized to the degree that we needed them to be. Then all of a sudden, ESPN hit us up, and then boom, records started getting placed in TV and film. And then we were like, oh, that's dope. That felt good because we started to see some type of
revenue come in,
yeah, some type of money. And then the writer that was involved was happy because they're getting accolades, some money, and they're associated with some things.
Right.
And then my ear was to the street because now I'm an independent guy. All these guys wasn't really knowing what they was doing, and now I know about music publishing. Now I'm like, yo, what's going on, right? And I'm listening to these records blow up in Atlanta, and I'm chasing down all these people like, yo, who doing your publish? Who doing your publish? Who writing your
right. Right.
And you know,
publishing,
and I came across the brother. I came across another brother who's super big time now, and I said to him, one of our writers won a competition he was putting on.
Right.
And he was out of Austin, Texas. And I said, yo, you owe me some money.
Right.
And he was just like, yo, who's the writer? And I said, this person's name. And he said, oh, snap. So how much I owe you? Then I said, you owe me all these numbers. I just was throwing out numbers, right? And he was like, yo, you sound like you know what you want to do. Meet me at my apartment. I said, where your apartment at? He told me downtown Peachtree, Atlanta. Downtown Atlanta. I went down there, we chopped it up, and we became friends, right?
Right.
And one thing led to another. Boom. I find this guy. This was our first accolade. I find this guy. Juice was hot with me because I was not going to let it up. This record was on fire. And I said to her, I don't know what these niggas talking about. But it's on fire.
Right.
He said the song was racks on racks on racks, right?
Yeah.
And it was on fire, boy. I was like, yo, I don't know what. The one nigga was like, kickstand the way I lean. I said, yo, Juice, I don't know what these niggas are saying.
But it's fire, right? They love
but it's fire. It's on fire. I got to figure out who these people is, right? Sure enough, man. I find out, I said to the homie, yo, you get your money yet? What you mean? We on the road. I said, all right, hit me when you get some back end money. 2 months go by. Hey, yo, bro, you get your money yet? He said, nah, self, what you saying, man? We getting all this money, man. We on fire.
They're getting the show money, right.
Just getting show money.
Back end,
What are you talking about? Boom. Then he finally calls us. Yo, self, man, what kind of money you talking about? I said, at this time, me and her at dinner, I'm eating. You should have been got some money, nigga. Laughing and stuff. And sure enough, man, we went in, we rectified that situation, and that was our first big accolade, and, you know, as publishers. And that Rocks on Racks record through the roof, launched Future's career, YC's career, everybody's career. And we taught everybody how to structure their back end. And then that just turned into credibility. I became the VP of that particular label. And then we just kept growing and growing and growing to the point where Universal acquired them, and the rest was history. But right after that, everything else started to monetize, and then Love Yours came, and J. Cole, that situation, like everything started to snowball.
Right.
The writers we were really writing, and mind you, all independent.
Right.
I wasn't associated with Warner Chappell. I wasn't associated with whatever. Because Juice said we can be publishers ourselves.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And we went, acquired all the accounts, ASCAP, BMRC, set up the company, did everything we had to do, and went and signed writers. And that's what launched us as publishers.
Right.
And gave us some money, put us in a situation where we can do a partnership with a friend of ours. And he moved the studio downtown. And you know, he committed suicide, and that's what brought us to mindset.
So let's talk about that before we get out of here. So tell me so tell me about that. Tell me about why you guys are so passionate about what you guys are doing in as mindset coaches, because that's not something you hear often in the space, right?
So in between all the hustle and bustle, right? Trying to become something. There was a lot of breakdowns. Like we were married, we had a kid, then we had another kid. We already had he had an older son.
Right.
So life was happening in between all this stuff going on, right?
Right.
And so when you're independent, of course, you don't have a whole lot of money,
Right.
That's what it is. Like, you need a whole lot of money, but you don't have it.
Right.
And we had to figure out how not to go crazy.
Right.
So there were a lot of moments of, maybe this isn't the right decision. I need to get out the music industry.
For sure.
This isn't, whatever, right?
Right.
But I made him promise me, like, boy, when I met you, this is what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? And I am a stickler for saying what you mean and mean what you say.
Right.
So you're not gonna get out this industry until you die, homeboy.
Right.
Like, these are the things that you gotta learn. This is what you signed up for.
Right.
Right. And when I married you, apparently I signed up for it too. So
we in. Yeah.
We're in this.
But by the way, that is very rare to find yourself. That is very rare to find a part that's willing to stick in this game with you, bro. That is so rare, because this it's hard to find it, because when the money ain't flowing through,
possibly be crazy.
She could be just as
crazy. But I want to give Juice her flowers, because you don't find that every day. Right. Of somebody, and in fact, they tell you, if they're not willing to ride with you, get them the fuck away.
Facts.
Like they tell, like I tell people, if your shorty if she ain't ride with you, she got to go. Right. She got to go, because like it's too much. If she's constantly
we can't hear you.
Lost your audio.
Oh no.
Now we can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think it switched back to. Let's go back.
We lost you when you said.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah. Okay. We lost you when you said you got to give Juice her flowers.
What I meant was, you just got to give Juice the flowers, because it's rare to find somebody in this business that's going to stick with you through the tough times of what's required, because there's so much going to be thrown at you on the way. And for her to want to stick with you this long, and to see the success happen, and then transition into what you guys are doing now, I just think it's something real special.
Yeah, we're going into our 19th cycle together, so
that's congratulations. Yeah. So, all right, so with the mindset stuff, so what you guys decide? Okay, we're gonna just focus on this, in addition to the publishing, but we're gonna focus on really helping people understand mindset and why that's important.
So that they wouldn't go crazy, so that they wouldn't do things out of desperation, so that they can understand, like, hey, you can actually make this life that you want a reality, but there's some steps that you need to take. And as long as you keep yourself focused and disciplined, and we believe in God. So for us, it's putting God first in everything. Like, if it's gonna work, it's gonna work. If it's not, it must not be what He has for us. But whatever a person believes, that needs to go at the forefront. You know what I mean? And
sure.
But the story of how we ended up there was because we decided to create. We had a business partner who meant a lot to us. Okay. And while we were working in the hustle and bustle and going through our own things, we didn't realize that he was going through some things too. You see? Mm-hmm. And because everybody had to, we had a studio downtown, and I was just trying to keep people inside the studio, keep labels inside of the studio, keep the rooms booked, and not really paying attention to what was going on, And then one day I went down there and came back, and the engineer called me and told me that he hung himself in the control room. And what that said was, for us, is, dang, we missed a very big part of this, which is checking in with people around us, checking in with to their mental case, their mental.
Really asking, you know.
Really asking, like, yo, how you really doing today?
What do you need?
What do you need? Everything good? And this business partner was living in the studio, and we just assumed that everything was
regular, because he was one of those, you know, a lot of people say when a person unfortunately takes their own life, I would never have assumed because they don't have that personality, right? So we learned, shoot, it don't matter what kind of personality, you know, like it could be the strongest people on the outside that are hurting so much on the inside.
Right.
So with that, we got to a place where we were just like, yo,
we're gonna help as many people as we can.
We need to help as many people not to go crazy during this journey. You know?
For sure.
And we don't want nobody else committing suicides. We don't want no one to feel what we felt. And we have so much to give in terms of relationship, being married, in terms of journey, in terms of mental state, in terms of career and business and all these different things. And we felt like it would be just selfish not to try to help someone on the ground.
Sure.
At least share
our stories and help them think a way to keep them motivated, to keep them moving in a direction when they're ready for a Durell Peart. You know what I mean? Or ready for to conquer levels into their career.
Right.
But really just help that mind of theirs stay on the ground while still dreaming big. You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
And so that's how we ended up becoming mindset coaches and career coaches for music entrepreneurs.
I love it, man. I love it because that is such a big part of your success. Because, as we said earlier, there's levels to this, and not everybody's going to become a mega star.
Right.
But what you can become is successful.
And you can become sustainable.
Right, and sustainable. Right. You guys probably heard me say this before, right? Some people are chasing the music industry, but if you understand the music business and the business of music, you realize you don't need the industry. The industry, you guys are living proof of that. You guys became your own public. You don't need, and once you really understand, and no disrespect, again, we talk about the Grammy. No disrespect to the Grammy Recording Academy. No disrespect to them. But majority of the artists in today's marketplace will never be on that Grammy stage.
Right. And then a lot of these people won't get there in a way where they know. Because even for us, like, we didn't have the Grammys in our mind.
Yeah.
But when we got nominated for a Grammy, it was just from us doing the work.
And I think that's a big thing too. I think people gotta look, don't fall in love with the awards. Fall in love with the work.
That's right.
Because when you fall in love with the work, then the awards come, then it's just par for the course. But if all you want is the accolades and the clout, I don't want to be around people like that. Because when it gets hard, you ain't gonna stick through because all you care about is the glitz and the glam.
Right, for sure.
What happens like today when the Grammys are over and everybody's going back to the grind of being an artist, the grind of being a songwriter, the grind of that become, because people don't realize it is not sexy to be a songwriter. You're the last person to get paid.
Oh, we know.
People think that it's sexy to go into these sessions literally like a 9 to 5, from 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. That's your day. That's 5 sessions a day. You're lucky if you get, let's say you do 8 songs in that day, 9 songs in that day. You don't know if any of them songs gonna ever get placed. And you didn't get paid. You gotta pay for your own lunch. A lot of times with these songs,
that's a good. You know what? That's the least of it all. But it's the realest thing on the planet because you gotta stay hydrated and fueled up to stay creative.
Right. They're not paying for you to go to. They're not providing you transportation to the sessions. So I say, hey, we're gonna take care of your lunch. So you gotta figure out how to get yourself there, pay for your food, do all the things you're doing, and then you don't even know if the song gonna get played. So what you then have to do is tell the producer that the producer gonna get their fee and look, charge extra $2,000 and pay me. So whatever your fee is, charge them extra $2,000 so I get some paper so I can pay my rent next month. Right. You know what I'm saying? And people don't realize what that really becomes because it's the people fall in love with the sexy part of it. This shit is a grind, man.
Right.
Everything about this music industry is a grind. It is like construction work. Put your hard hat on and go to work.
Yep.
Are you prepared for
Love
the
the house looks like.
Yeah. And are you prepared for the mental? So that's why what you guys do as mindset coaches, and you let people know there's levels to success. I always say it like this: you have the NBA. Some guys do well and make it to the NBA. Some guys got to go overseas and play.
Yeah.
You can still make money, do what you love to do. Not everybody's gonna be good enough to get on the biggest stage, but you could play the small stages
That's
and
right.
get paid.
And
Right?
you can treat the small stages like the biggest stage.
Exactly.
But in our situation
And then
is
get paid more than you would if you were
Yeah.
signed to a label.
that's right.
Exactly.
Because in our situation, we treated the small stages, the crumbs,
Mhm.
like they were big,
Yeah.
and they gave us big opportunity. You see?
Absolutely.
As
Absolutely.
as a direct result. So to that independent artist that may come through this podcast,
Mhm.
yeah, you let's not say you may never achieve that
And
level.
we're not saying that. Yeah, we're not saying we don't want you to strive to that. Yeah.
Let's not say that. Let's say take these small stages so seriously that the byproduct of you taking that seriously will find you on a big platform. And that's what happened to us. When she said you could be publisher, you know what, we can. We took it so seriously that the byproduct was Grammy nomination, triple platinum plaques, gold, this, that, and the third. All the byproducts of us taking that small thing so seriously.
Right.
Amongst giants, Warner Chappell, EMI, blah, 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 all these whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? To the point where now we are able to say we achieved something on a level that is commercially big as like we have competitors on that scale, but you know, we're not Warner, right? We just mom and pop shop, husband and wife. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just us here in our bedroom.
Just us here in our bedroom, going into the other room, making calls, doing whatever the case may be. And if we can do that, right, then, you know, we believed in God in the process and we believe in God in the results. And if someone just takes that mentality of believing in God in the process, believing in God in the results, and taking whatever it is that you have so serious that the byproduct will end you up in a place where you didn't even think was possible.
You'll look and you'll be like, oh my God.
You'll be like, dang.
I can't believe this is what I'm at.
I love that, man. Look, we're gonna have to we're gonna stop it there. But before we get out of here, how can people find you, connect with you? Tell them about the crash. Look, because I know that's what you guys promote heavily. Before we get out of here, then we're gonna end it.
The crash. It's our mindset community. Thank you. Our group coaching. It's online. We do meet in person sometimes, but it's online and we are hands-on. So it's not even there's no course that you could buy or whatever. It's us on a screen talking to you guys.
What you get out of it is what you get out of it. It's up to you.
Right.
You see?
But you can find us at CEO Self Coaching everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. So at CEO Self Coaching on IG and at CEOselfcoaching.com is where our programs and our services are. And the person can find us there, you know.
I love you guys.
One-on-one coaching, just like you do. So when it comes to business development and things of that nature. So our mindset is on Tuesdays through the crash. And our one-on-one coaching is more business development specific to whoever is hiring us to help them and be in their life.
I love that. I love you guys and what you guys are doing. And ever since we connected, I just really am supportive. And I love what you guys are doing because it's so important, it's so needed, especially in the independent world, you know,
right.
Because the independents are not going to necessarily see what happens on the top level. Because trust me, it's a different game. Get to the 1%, it's a different game. And I tell people, man, this is drug, sex, and rock and roll.
Right.
And that's why what you guys do is important, because if your mental is not right, you will get destroyed in this business. It will. It's not meant for the people who are not mentally strong to survive. Especially in this era where we're in the social era where attention is the new currency. It ain't even about talent. It's about how many eyeballs see you. And that's the era we're in. So thanks so much for coming on to the podcast, guys. This is Inspire Podcast. And this is your host, Durell Peart. Till next time, I'm out of here. Peace. Pause that.